Hello there, tarot lovers and healers and healing people. Our card of the day is the King of Swords, and here we're going to talk a little bit about who he is inside of ourselves. This king is the king of air, the king of mind, the king of belief, the king of all of our mental, rational, intellectual self. That part of us where all of our beliefs and conditionings are seated inside of ways of thinking and belief systems and programs and conditionings that we hold on to consciously and subconsciously. So this is the very masculine, airy world of the mind and the intellect, and this is a very scientific, energetic, which we can see is very masculine, and this is the king, or the most masculine quality and mature quality within this mental realm or area of consciousness that we travel into in our lives and that we experience on a daily basis. This king is very focused, he's very ordered, he's very disciplined, he's got a strong amount of willpower and clarity. He knows what his truth is and he is very open to share it. So this masculine energy is always an outward going energy, and so being very outward going in nature, he's always willing to communicate and to share his ideas and his beliefs, and he does so with great efficiency. This is the guy who is able to keep his cool and stay the observer when there is emotional chaos and physical chaos in the world around him. For this reason, he seems quite stable, and he sometimes seems quite aloof in nature, not really being connected to or grounded in the world of emotions and physicality and materiality. He is the ideas man. And although you don't feel like he is connected, just like the air is, coming into our bodies invisibly all the time, flowing in and flowing out, and is this invisible way that we share with the world around us. In a similar way, he is the king of this invisible sharing, this energetical transference and this communication on a vibrational layer of our lives, where we are sharing continuously, and he is very conscious of what he shares on an intellectual and mental level. He's very clear and he's very precise with his communication, and being that masculine energy, he's always willing to be outward going in what he shares, and there's that part of us that's willing to share our beliefs and ideas with everyone. So when this card comes up, he's asking me to be very clear, very concise, and very focused, and to bring out and cultivate and remember that discipline I have inside of me to be focused and very efficient in what I do, because my mind is on point and very much in the present moment with where I am in my life. It's interesting really, because I think because he's the most comfortable in this suit, being this masculine figure in this masculine suit, you can see it as being a little bit extreme, but on another front, he holds the key to this duality, and he understands duality in a very clear way, in that he knows the importance of focus and will and concentration, but he also understands leniency and adaptability and flexibility and flow. And he's got those qualities of mind down just as he does this very concentrated focus, which is, sometimes what we lack in our lives. And so everybody thinks, it's all about focus and intellect and concentration, but he's more than that. In his sword is, it's off to one side, just holding it like that in a bit of a nonchalant way. He's showing it, but it's not like, yeah, you know, very strict. Not like the queen who's very direct up and down. No, he's not like the knight who's charging forward. He's learnt his lessons. He has a level of maturity that the knight doesn't have. He knows that it's not just about going out there full on. It's about being in the present moment. He's aware that the richness of his mind comes out when his mind is silent and quiet, not just when it's active and intellectually throwing ideas out there into the world and sharing them. He understands this duality which the swords hold very strongly, with their two sides to them, and both sides can cut, you know, through anything. He has this ability to cut through things and to see the point of things, and he doesn't mince his words. He's very direct and very able to go to the meat of the matter and the source of the problem, and to be able to see it. This is a great counselor and a great mentor, and he can hold space for that feminine emotionality to go crazy and to go wild in life. And he won't lose his cool. He'll be stable and strong when there could be emotional and physical chaos around him. He feels a little bit like that, like he's quite grounded. It's interesting because he's not very earthy in nature, but because he's able to go with the flow, and he won't get carried away with the flow. He understands the flow. He has this level of comprehension, and that's part of his truth, to flow, because the air blows like the wind, and it can go, wow, faster than water, faster than the emotions. It can change, and it can be more flexible and more adaptable. And this is what he represents, this ability to be all of those things. And he calls for us to adopt those aspects and bring out those qualities inside of us and those characteristics, so that we can be adaptable, flexible, and at the same time focused in our lives. And yeah, he is the great mentor inside of us. He's that part of us that he's going to be aloof sometimes. He's going to be able to stand up and be the observer and look down from above, which we normally think is, you know, emotionally unavailable. But there's a richness to that emotionally unavailable person, in that they can hold space for the emotionally crazy person better than anybody else. They can allow it, they can see it, they can understand the richness of it, and they can even perceive the patterns inside of it and the patterns inside of our own emotional chaos. And it's about finding that intellectual truth. It's interesting because when I was looking at this card, it reminded me of this aloofness, because I sometimes got called aloof in my life, and I definitely am to a certain degree, because I learned to disconnect from some of my emotions, because it was safer, or when I was a child, to just withdraw and retreat, and that would seem quite aloof. And I was really very sensitive, but it was my, saving mechanism, if you like, to step inside of the mind and outside of the emotions. And a lot of people do that. It's a very man thing, to retreat in our intellectuality in order not to feel our vulnerability. And yet, if we have the maturity to be able to retreat and feel at the same time, we can really hold space for that feeling. And this is where the true gift of this king comes along. And I realized that aloofness allows me to be sensitive, but not get carried away with my empathy, not get super involved and maybe too heavily influenced emotionally by my environment, and to hold that certain aloofness that allows me to observe and see the patterns in those emotional stories of flow in our lives. And this made me understand, there's two sides to every story, and as the Hermetic Kybalion says, all truths are but half true. And this is a truth that this king knows very well. I wish you all a fantastic day. I hope this serves you in some way. I'd love to hear your comments and share if it's inspirational enough to do so. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best.